Skills pay your bills. College is for knowledge, but a trade will get you paid.
You're listening to Sell or Fail.
And if you ain't selling, you failing.
Welcome back to another episode of Sell or Fail, where we approach sales from both the entrepreneurial and the corporate perspective. And we're your host, Williams Brack, your favorite banker.
Samuel Nelson, owner of Massage on the Go, Medical Massages Memphis, and Massage Service Tax Orange Mound.
College educated or not, A type or B, sales is the great equalizer. And today we have an entrepreneur, CEO and president of Olympic Career Training Institute, Mr. Trey Carter. Now, we've covered the corporate sale. Now we're talking about the entrepreneurial sale, the double sale. Not only does Trey have to sell manufacturers and distributors, he also has to sell talent that he wants to train. And the talent is focused on both the trucking and the manufacturing and distribution space with forklift drivers.
Right. And using that forklift license can take you a lot of different places. Because of Memphis being the way that it is, it's a bunch of warehouses and a lot of forklift drivers are being needed on a regular basis. So it's a good trade. So that's why I opened up this segment with that, trade to get you paid. So if you get you a good trade as a forklift driver, cherry pickers, and other equipment that you can operate, you're going to make some money.
And I think Trey is in a really good space. The trucking industry market size is $44 billion.
Yes.
That's a lot of dollars last time I checked.
That's a whole lot of dollars. That's your kids. Still go get some money out of it.
And for the past 10 years, one of the greatest issues in the industry has been finding enough drivers.
Right.
Between alcohol, sleep, drugs, whatever, finding qualified drivers is a high priority for this industry. And I suspect that's why Trey decided to go into the business. Yeah,
it's a built-in win-win. You can show them the numbers of how much you're going to make. You can be 18 years old on the road, bringing in $50,000 to $60,000 a year, driving up and down the expressway, or you can go and become a forklift driver, making about the same amount of money in 18 months.
And look, Trey's in a good space, right? Because he's on one side where he gets to train the talent,
right,
and then the other side where he gets to place the talent,
right.
And so that's a sale on one side to the people who's coming into the institute, and then a sale to these corporations and small businesses that require his services. And so we just want to talk about what both these sales look like and how Trey and OCTI is being effective in the industry. You're listening to Sell or Fail.
And if you ain't selling, you failing. Let's get this money.
Woo!
This is the Kicks Factory show where we discuss all things footwear from the creative point of view, shoemaking, design, creation, pretty much a little bit of everything. I'm your host, Omar Bailey, footwear design, entrepreneur, creator, blah, 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 blah. But this show isn't about me. I wanted to create this show to tell the stories of those behind the scenes who've worked on some extraordinary products that you've heard of, but the people that you may not necessarily be familiar with. Welcome, everyone, to the Kicks Factory podcast.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to Sell or Fail. If you ain't selling, you failing. And remember, we on the mic with Trey Carter of Olympic Training. Trey, are you with us?
How's it going?
What's up, Trey? Thanks for your time, man. How your day been?
Anytime for one of my fellow Spartans, man.
You know it. Green and gray all the way, baby.
You know it.
Yeah. How you been doing today, man?
Man, all is well, man. I've been working, man. I got on a dress shirt, but below the screen, I got on my steel toe boots, man.
There you go. So tell us, as we learn more about your industry, how do you convince corporate America that you have the great enough staff to fill in all their spots, and also how do you convince people to come to your school?
Okay, when it comes to the employers, it's pretty simple. I usually can see their pain points when I look at their OSHA statistics, sometimes how many accidents they've had on their, at their warehouses. And I also know the back end. How much does that cost you when someone is injured, when product is damaged, or when there's been a combination of both? You damage product while having accident. So I know those costs, and I back in and say, this is how much I can save you. That's a very easy proposition to say. When I train your folks, your accidents and damaged product will go down, which will save you 15% on your bottom line. So that's a very easy sell. And then the other thing is, when they tell me to do it, it's easy to do because I've trained each and every last person. I don't hope they know what they're doing. I know exactly that the talent has the skill set to do whatever it is, whether it's driving trucks or driving forklifts. On the back end, when you have a student, a participant, letting them know that there are back end employment opportunities for them is an easy sell, because they understand they're either unemployed or underemployed. In forklift case, within a week, you'll be making living wage or better. In a truck driving scenario, in 4 to 8 weeks, you'll be making at a minimum $50K take home.
4 to 8 weeks?
4 to 8 weeks.
I thought it was a lot longer than that.
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Well, no. So let's be clear.
Uh-huh.
Some places do, take 10 months, 8 months. We're 4 to 8 weeks, because it takes that long because they make it that long. It doesn't take that long.
Okay.
And so that turnaround time, usually that person can buy in and say, I'm going to buckle down for a month or two, or this week I'm going to make sure I get my forklift license, and I'll be making more money than I've made all year. So it's a pretty easy sale.
Wow, I did not know that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're talking about selling, right? And so,
correct.
Who was your example, or where did you learn how to sell?
My old man, my dad. Most people knew him as Pat Carter. He was the first black car dealership, major flag car dealership owner in Memphis. He had Pat Carter Pontiac. And so my father was a car salesman, not a used car salesman, but a car salesman. So one of the things about a car salesman, their attitude and their personalities have to be big when you're running a dealership. And so one of those things I just saw on a day-to-day basis was just the normal conversation. It didn't have anything to do with sales, but that normal conversation, my dad made sure you felt good. He was not better than anyone. Rapport. He built the rapport, and he made you, he would put something in you to ultimately, he knew cars. So again, if we saw you out, we say, what you driving? Or you driving another flag, another brand, he let you know why Pontiac was the best. Or if you were driving a Pontiac and it was 7, 8 years old, here's why you need to get a new one. And so I kind of saw what he did to make you want to buy, get a new set of keys for your car, and then translate that to anything else. Because he had several different businesses. That was his main business, but he had, like I say, he had a staffing firm. He also had other investments. He actually was one of the owners of the Memphis Rockers back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember that, but the Memphis Rockers, which had John Starks on the team, Andre Turner, Vincent Askew, who ultimately played in the NBA. So being an owner of a team, just think about like a Mark Cuban type or something, so he's walking around the arena talking to the players. He got to go to the cheerleading. I remember going to the cheerleader tryouts. Then he got to try to sell.
I know that was very difficult, the cheerleader tryout. Very difficult. Yeah.
I remember being a little kid running around,
That's what's up, man.
And so one of those things is just in general, just learning how to have a conversation with any person, whether they're employed, unemployed, CEOs, politicians. He could talk to anyone.
So does that mean you've taken that rapport building skill and connectivity, and you can talk to anyone? Is that what you're telling us?
I believe so, or most anyone. But make sure it's genuine and authentic. I'm not a carnival barker, if you will, where I'm just saying things just to talk. No, I'm listening just as much as I'm talking, and I'm trying to build some type of connectivity or something we have in common, and seeing where can I help you, not necessarily how you can help me. And usually that turns into an opportunity.
Okay. And like a sell or fail is all about the sale. So tell us your sales strategy, because you said you build a relationship with people, you show the stress points to corporations, and then your sale to the consumer or the people that's coming in your door. Look, you broke, you need a job. In 8 weeks, you can be a truck driver. In a week, you can be a forklift driver. But do you have a social media presence? Do you run a data based upon the data of certain neighborhoods? Do you know low income neighborhoods that you go to? Or how do you do that?
Well, actually, so just to give a little, well, today is a little different than the first days of starting. So actually, January 10th, we just celebrated 11 years of business.
Congratulations.
So what I do today is a lot different than what I did 11 years ago. Today, we've had 11-year track record. I even had a guy call today from Mississippi saying, from Nesbitt, Mississippi, saying he heard about me at his church in Nesbitt, Mississippi. Like, I don't know how he heard about me. I don't advertise with the church, but right now, my quotient for students is each student averages about 3 to 4 word of mouth new customers or new students.
Okay.
So the word of mouth is very strong within what we do, because again, it's usually the proof is in the pudding. When someone comes to us not working, goes to work, especially your bigger places, we got the Nikes in town and Amazons. When they go to these places, and it was because they were certified, they're telling their whole friend groups, family, classmates, you name it, or going online. So I really don't have to sell in the traditional sense, saying, call today, come see. It's usually the word of mouth. A friend told me, my coworker told me, my company told me. So that's what and we're number 1 on Google, which is a very good thing with the algorithm.
I just looked at this. Y'all have 1,470 some reviews. I like numbers. And and I was going to ask you, how are you getting people to leave reviews so frequently?
Word by our mouth. So one of the things that traditionally happens when you think about reviews usually happen after the fact, and traditionally when something has gone wrong.
Right.
So if you're a restaurant and someone has eaten there 99 times, it's fine. They go there, they eat, the food is great, they go home, enjoy their meal. But that one time they go when the food was cold or it took too long to get the food, they're going to get on their phone and say, hey, I had the worst experience. But that's one time out of 100 times. But so I just say, hey, to get a real perspective of what we got going on, I ask each and every person to leave a review. And so usually people do have a good time. If you're doing your business pretty well, 99% of the people are going to have a good time and enjoy what you do. However, if you left it up to just the isolated reviewers, it's usually going to be, well, I was at Olympic and they didn't have enough light on in the back and I couldn't see, whatever the situation may be. And so we just wanted a real true view online of what we got going on.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And reviews and word of mouth referrals are usually a product of success.
Right.
Nobody's referring people who didn't deliver on what they said they were going to do.
Right.
And so the way to get more prospects, the way to get more referrals is to take care of each and every person that comes across your desk. So you mentioned the Nikes, you mentioned the Amazons and some of the big other players that we have in Memphis. What are the typical people you're calling on in those organizations? Kind of what are their titles? And then how do you find them?
So one would be just I guess you say either the warehouse managers or the HR managers, because they're usually the ones handling recruiting or handling the day-to-day operations of their warehouses. And I've been a member of organizations like SHRM to meet the HR representatives, and I've also joined different clubs like the World Trade Club, Memphis Chamber of Commerce, where I may not be able to just walk up to a warehouse and meet that person. However, through those different channels, they'll have ways for us to connect or match in those type of ways, and so I've done it that way as well. What I've had happen, here's one key. I've had a lot of people be hired at a new place that I didn't even know existed. And if they've hired 3 or 4 of my drivers, then all of a sudden I get a call saying, we got 3 people who came through you. Can you come over and be a client of ours now? Because we need 10 more. So we've had that happen with quite a few companies.
Okay.
And I didn't have to call it sale at all.
So networking is a huge part of your business development activity.
Correct.
So you don't
Correct.
just depend on online. You just don't depend on word of mouth. You're also out in the community through trade associations and board activity. I think you kind of brushed over the board participation a little bit.
Yeah, so I served on the board of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce. So we're always looking to grow the greater Memphis area's business portfolio, if you will. So from attracting new companies, growing companies that are already here, specifically helping, minority and women-owned businesses grow, and, matching them with other municipalities, how to do business with the city of Memphis, with Shelby County government, things of that nature that may not be the easiest thing to do when you're by yourself. We champion those types of efforts as well.
Well, Trey, the next segment, we're going to walk through we're going to role play a little bit for you.
Let's do it.
But I'm not going to change clothes, all right? We're going to act like we're on the phone. We're going to go through a couple of sales pitch, and you'll tell us you'll show us how to close a sale.
All right, let's do it.
But before we finish, what are some of the common questions that someone from Nike or Amazon or City of Memphis might ask a person like you?
They're usually asking, well, here are the pieces of equipment we use at our facility. Can you either provide people who can drive them, or can you train some of our internal employees? Some may not be drivers currently. Can you help them get up to speed to become drivers? 'Cause a lot of companies do like to hire within. So they say some people who aren't currently drivers but have been model employees for 5 years, and of course driving the forklift will give them an increase of pay. I'll come in and train those individuals for that company.
Well, we appreciate you for sharing that, and we're going to get into the role play a little bit more, like Sam said after the break. You're listening to Sell or Fail.
And if you ain't selling, you failing. Let's get this money.
Woo!
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now.
Dark Souls is the only video game I've ever walked away from.
We got so much going on in sports. First topic we're going to jump off into is in the basement. Blues in the basement.
Welcome, everyone, to the Kicks Factory podcast.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to Sell or Fail. Like we said earlier, we're on the mic with Trey Carter, owner of Olympic Career Training Institute right here in Memphis, Tennessee. And as an entrepreneur, you have to do everything in the business. You have to watch the financials. You have to make sure operations are going well. But most importantly, you have to be a rainmaker, which means you have to sell.
Make it rain.
And so, Trey, we got to go back to year one. No one has heard of Olympic Career Training Institute. I'm a warehouse manager at Nike, and you need to pick up the phone to call me. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ring, ring. Well, Sam is my warehouse manager at Nike. You're about to call him, telling him who Olympic Career Training Institute is, and get him to set the meeting. I don't know too many people who selling over the phone. Typically, a first phone call is just to get the meeting to talk about. I don't know. Do you sell over the phone, or do you sell to get the meeting?
I usually sell to get the meeting, but if you want to do the phone, we'll do it on the phone.
I want to sell to get the meeting. Ring, ring.
Okay.
Ring, ring. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, may I speak with Mr. Phil Knight, please?
Mr. Phil, he's not available. This is Mr. Nelson.
Okay, Mr. Nelson. Well, first of all, my name is Trey Carter, and I'm with the Olympic Career Training Institute, and we're a post-secondary school that trains in logistics and distribution, specifically in the Memphis area, where you have your largest Northridge facility that has over 6,000 employees. And I was calling to let you know that currently you are looking at about a shortage of about 15%, which shortage is how much you're losing, whether it be crushed or damaged products or stolen products, things of that nature. And so they would know what that meant. But I would say due to your shortage, we will be able to shore that up by at least 10%, which would save you, in Nike's perspective, about $1.8 million a month.
Wow.
I'd like to have
guaranteed
a meeting.
or just an estimate cost? You can guarantee me this?
It's estimated, depending on if they're stealing shoes or they're stealing golf clubs, depending on what they're stealing from you. But what we can do, we can guarantee that they won't damage it. We can guarantee that they will be more productive, and we will guarantee that in the future you will have less wrecks than you've been wrecks and or OSHA compliant incidents. Because with the OSHA incident, you get fines on top of what you got to fix. If you damage something or you hurt someone, you're paying insurance bills, you're paying liability. But however, OSHA still hits you with a fine of $5,000, $10,000, $100,000. We're gonna eliminate both of those.
All right. So how do we set this up?
Well, first I will send you an email that shares a little bit of what we've already done for Amazon, what we've already done for Williams Sonoma, so that you can see our past track record. But also, I can also do an audit for you to let you know exactly how we can help you at your Memphis locations on Lamar, Tuggle, and in Northridge, so that we can have a real precise amount of savings that we can provide for you.
Okay, well, let's set it up.
All right.
That sounds good.
All right, so we're going to call time on this, and now we're about to judge it.
Yeah. We're
right?
going to break it down.
Trey, there's some things you did really well, especially in the beginning. You introduced yourself. You said, I'm Trey Carter. You introduced the name of your company. I'm Olympic Career Training Institute. You talked about what your company does, and you talked about how it might benefit us. You even dropped a few referrals in there. What you did not do on this initial call is ask for the meeting. Right. And I don't know why.
That's why I was saying, like, how we going to do it. I was waiting on you to say when we going to do the meeting.
Are you available Tuesday? Well, are you Tuesday for a Zoom call? Like we're in these times, so it can't be I can't come see you. So usually it would be normal time. It'd be for lunch or of course a in-person visit. But if you're available for a Zoom call, I'd love to schedule one at your earliest convenience. How about Tuesday at 9 a.m.?
So do you normally, like in real time, do you start selling in that first phone call like that?
I would.
Okay.
I would. Well, it depends. So normally before I make the call, I've done quite a bit of, I've looked at the analytics and the data and things. So I can see, and sometimes I even get word from, hey, Trey, you need to reach out to Nike. They just had, something bad happen, so you need to reach out to them. You'll answer all their prayers. So sometimes I know when I call, hit these pain points.
Right.
And also, I usually don't charge anything on the front end. Here, try these 3 people out and let me know what you think.
Okay. Yeah,
you're gonna hire 30 people anyway. Take these 3, match them up against those other 27 that you hire, and then you'll be calling me back in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I like the statistics. I like how you dropped the location name. I don't know if you knew all the numbers, you were just making up as go along, but it sounds good, and it sounds like something that'll pull my attention. That's why I was saying the only part is you didn't ask for the meeting or my email.
I would have normally done that under normal circumstances, and a lot of other things too that are so many. So sometimes with work, it's not always just can someone drive this, can someone do that. Right. But there's also certain things. So for instance, if Nike just hires a person to be a forklift trainer, who is someone they found who might have had a lot of experience, that person would just be training. However, when they use Olympic Career Training Institute, we're approved by the Department of Labor, Tennessee Higher Education Commission, Veteran Affairs Administration. They can actually, I could be their trainer. When I go in under Olympic, they actually can save money on their liability insurance because Olympic is providing the trainer versus a good guy they know under their employee is providing the training. So even if I'm doing poor training, or just as good a training as that employee, they can save money on their liability insurance. And we start talking Nikes, how much they're paying per head.
Whoa, Trey, hold up now. Now you just set the meeting with Mr. Phil Knight or Mr. Nelson, right?
Mr. Nelson.
And so we heard what you said. We like the statistics. Right. We've heard of we called a buddy of ours, and we heard that OCTI is a pretty good firm. Maybe we should listen. There's no guarantee you and I are going to do business, but we should listen. And so we have a lunch schedule. And now I want to hear more about OCTI. Let's walk through how that meeting might go. We've only had this conversation over the phone that you set the meeting. You let us know that you understand a little bit about our business. So now let's get a scenario where you and I are at lunch and we're having our first face-to-face meeting. We're not worried about COVID right now. We're having our first face-to-face meeting. So,
all right.
Hey, Mr. Carter, nice to meet you. Glad to finally put a face with a name.
Okay, and I'll let you know before this meeting. I probably would have known where the person went to school,
Okay.
what the person probably some of their hobbies, because I mean through LinkedIn and other channels you get to kind of know a little bit about a person, find their Facebook
Right.
page. So I probably would go in knowing some of their hobbies, their likes, and their alma mater, which a lot of times people have pride in their college and things of that nature. And if I have some mutual friends there, but from there I will start to talk about what's going on with Nike and their
No.
forecast.
Let's actually go through it. You narrating for us. We
Okay.
want to go through it. I'm a graduate of White Station High School in the University of Memphis. I've been at Nike for 10 years. My hobbies are hunting and flag football. Let's
Okay.
go.
And I
Well, first
drink
of all,
top
I'll
shelf
say,
cognac too. Don't give me no cheap cognac.
Top shelf cognac is what I like.
All right.
well, time is of the essence. So I'll let them know, first of all, thank you for the time, especially so quickly to get with me. And so I can share a little bit more about what we do at Olympic. And I would say, okay, and I also noticed that you graduated from University of Memphis, which is a Nike school.
Go Tigers.
So I'll say, I'm sure you had something to do with, some of the successes they've had from the football side and, now building up the basketball is up and down, but however,
Right.
all of that is Nike. So I mentioned some of that because I do know they give a whole lot back to University of Memphis. So I'd be like, I'm glad y'all are a community partner. And then also I will speak to now the directly to the person about how.
Speak directly to me, Trey. You keep narrating.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Okay. I would say, am I meeting with Sam? Or
You meet with me.
You
Let's
meet
go.
with him.
all right, Mr. Brack. I see that you all are having, good success at Nike, but I think there's a little bit more that could be, done with your all's workforce as well as with your all's efficiencies. So I was looking at y'all's, Q4 from 2020, and I saw that the with your all's distribution, y'all had a peak, but I think it didn't match, of course, due to the pandemic. It didn't match 2019. It didn't match 2018, but a lot of that was due to some of the back end. I saw that y'all had 12 OSHA compliant regulation regulatory issues where with accidents and things of that nature with
That's
your
true.
train cars and things of that nature. So I speak to that and say, so with Olympic, what we can do is when you have people driving lifts inside of train cars, inside of trucks, we probably will eliminate at least 85% of those accidents that you've had due to our track record for the last 11 years, which would have saved you about $100,000 a month in damage and liability that you all would have had at y'all's facilities. And I think that's something to go directly to your bottom line. Your goal is always to make your shareholders' wealth grow. I'm here to help you do that. So immediately working with me, I think there'll be a win-win on both sides, and get ready for your 2021 bonus.
Okay. I'd like a big bonus. I can tell you that much. But so time on that as well. So you come in dropping statistics, dropping value. Do you ask any questions of the person sitting across from you, or are you just like, boom, this is information, this is what I can do, you need to take this, OCTI wins?
No, I asked them. So even if you had an answer, I asked them. So are you having any issues with turnover? So that's one of the big things. Are you having issues with turnover of your drivers and any other type of employees you have?
Yes, turnover is my biggest issue. What's another question you would ask?
When it comes to the lifts that you use, that Nike uses Raymond lifts. Are you having issues with the lifts? Because there are different makes and models, and sometimes I can help suggest a different type of lift to use that would even help with productivity, which has nothing to do with me.
Got it.
So instead of using Ford, use Chevy, or vice versa. You'll get better use of your equipment.
Well, we appreciate that, and this is good value, right? And we just wanted to paint the picture that you got to ask questions, and you have to deliver value with data, statistics, and performance on the back end.
Right.
Before we close out, I only have one question to ask. Do you think, being an African American in the industry, do you think that's affected your growth at all?
Initially, I'll say the first 2 to 3 years, because in the first 2 to 3 years, I think most people did business with me because I personally knew them. They were doing business with Trey. But I think over time, when we built a reputation and built a larger scale, people did business with Olympic. They didn't even know I don't go around as the owner, the CEO. So a lot of people don't know who owns it. Some people think it's a branch of a location of a national company. So I just keep it like that, and it's really just the offerings that we have. As long as we have great customer service, great training, and ultimately great employees come out of what we train, it sells itself.
Okay, Trey. Thanks, man. Thanks for the role playing. I know we put you on the spot, but you did a great job, man.
It's
You
good,
helped us out. You said
but
what?
as an entrepreneur, you got to always be thrown on the spot. So.
Oh, yeah. I always be ready,
Appreciate
baby. Be ready. Keep your head on the swivel. But thank y'all, Seller Fair audience. We're going to come back to you with another segment. Trey, get ready, man. We're going to talk to you about some mentorships and a couple of books and words of wisdom to call us out. You're listening to Sell or Fail, and if you ain't selling, you failing. Woo! Let's get this. What's up, Trey?
What's happening, man?
You having fun, man?
Oh, man, it's great, man. I love to see the opportunity because sometimes, like, I get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So sometimes, being impromptu questions and how to make it work, that's part of being an entrepreneur. You got to be ready, even if you're not ready.
Right. You liking the floor of the show?
Man, it's great, man. Y'all got a great thing going.
Thank you, man. We try to have fun.
And loosen up, like the whole thing of loosening up, that's great, man.
Right.
Everything can't be so serious.
Right. Well, we're finna bring you back in for the last segment. You gonna do it?
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna give you a 3 count, and we're gonna bring you right back in.
Perfect.
All right. You're back with Sell or Fail. If you ain't selling, you failing. We're here with the money man, Trey Carter. Hey, what's up, Mr. Carter? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
Hey, don't be shy that Sam called you the money man.
You know, I like you ain't the money man.
Trying to be modest.
Right. Trey, wait, 3 money makers. I feel you. Making one out 3 different ways. I feel you.
I'm trying my best.
So, speaking of making money, one of the things that I see from people who are productive, who are running businesses, they're always trying to get better. They're always sharpening the tool. And so what are some of the books that have been most impactful to you over the course of your life?
Well, one that I read years ago, I remember because I was so spread thin, was the 4-Hour Work Week. That was a great book because I just didn't have enough. At the time of reading it, I felt that I didn't have time to do a lot of things. So it gave me a perspective of how to be more effective with my time. And and it's just a way of thinking when you're doing things. And automation was one of the big things I got out of that.
What else you got for us?
The number 1 rule, fill towns. That's one of I read. Number 1 rule, because even though you're selling, even though your day-to-day operations, if you're making, sometimes you could be selling something for $10, but it's costing you, of course, $15 to do it. So a lot of times beyond just selling, because people think you sell a whole lot, you're making money. You got to make sure you're watching those margins, make sure you understand your true costs, and making sure you're watching that bottom, top line and bottom line.
Okay. And, I always say the best leader in the world is an excellent student. So as you being a leader, who teaches you? Who's your mentor?
We have several mentors for certain things. So for instance, when I was looking, one of the gentlemen, his name is Tyrone Burrows. He's a local Memphis entrepreneur who's in a lot of different segments. However, one of them is logistics and distribution. So kind of having his blessing to know that this was a lane that I could get in, and it was going to be, if you do it long enough, you should still be successful. That helped out. I do have some that are in the space of education, because even though I'm in logistics, I'm a school. So also I work with, have some mentors such as a lot of people with the chamber, but Greg Duckett, and some people with, he's high level with the Tennessee Board of Regents and things from a policy side as well as regulatory side, because there's so many things that I have to comply with on the school and compliance side that are different from a traditional manufacturing plant or a forklift sales place. I have a lot of other regulatory things I have to deal with. So I talk with them, and there's a host of other, there's too many to mention, but mentorship is very important to me in the growth of my personal self as well as business growth.
So any closing advice for the sellers out here in the Sell or Fail Nation?
Well, I would suggest 2 things. Always look at your margins, and as well as look at your verticals when you're in your business. Even though you have, so a good example is the same person that comes to me that wants their forklift license in about a year and a half is going to want their CDL license. So don't train them just on the forklift license and say, get out of here and good luck in the workforce. No, I keep in touch with them. That same person also, when they start making money, is going to say, I need a nice high, I'm unbanked. So where should I bank when they start making some money? Because they got to get a direct deposit somewhere. Then technically, after they do that for a while, I'm tired of living at home with my mom. I need a place to stay. I'm trying to get my own apartment. I'm trying to get my own house to rent. I'm trying to do something. They're calling me. So one of the other things I do as an entrepreneur is keep up with your customer base, because they need more than what just you sell them on the front end. Right. And so I have a big community that I would say keep up with your sales, for, whoever you're selling with, and make them a part of your community.
Well, look, I think that's a really, really, really important for our Sell or Fail Nation. The easiest sale is an existing customer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You've already made them happy. You've already built rapport. You've already delivered. Sometimes you have to go back and say, hey, is there anything else I can help you with? Is there anything else you need? Here are some of our other offerings. And when you're in a slump, a little heat check. You might go a couple months where you just closing everything and everybody that's in front of you. And then some months you can't even hit the backboard.
You can't close a door.
Correct.
And that's in times in those slumps where it makes a lot of sense to call on people you've already sold.
Right.
And it may be extra motivations like, hey, what's going on, checking in, or it might be an additional sale. So do not forget and neglect your existing customers.
Right. You're right.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Sam, you got any closing motivation out for Sell or Fail Nation based on our conversation with Mr. Carter?
Well, I'm a big advocate of trade. I opened it up by saying college is for knowledge. Right. Trade to get you paid, man. And make sure you continue to sharpen your sword. Go to trade school, become an electrician, become a diesel mechanic, become a forklift driver, become a 18-wheeler driver. You got to make that money quick, and sometimes you need to make it sooner than 2-3 years in college. So trade to get you paid, college is for knowledge.
That's so funny. You've been trying to fit that in for every single episode that we've done.
Got one.
But we got Trey.
Trey will get you paid too. Trey will
get you paid.
Well, look, Trey, drop your social medias for us. How students or employers can find more information about OCTI.
All right, on Instagram, my personal site is Trey Carter 901, and the Olympic Career Training Institute is at OCTI Training. And you can go to www.octitraining.com to get all the information on our classes, our school, and other opportunities in the workforce.
And don't forget to listen, download, share, comment with your friends, your family, your neighbors, the Sell or Fail podcast. Trey, thank you again for joining us.
And you're listening to Sell or Fail.
Let me get one of those shirts too, man. Let me get one of those shirts.
I got you. Man. What size you need? Small, large, medium?
Give me a large, man. We'll roll with a large.
Get you a large.
You can't do this medium, man. Let me get
a
large.
Go ahead and close us out, Sam.
You listening to Sell or Fail. If you ain't selling,
you failing.
Let's get this money.
And we'll see you next episode.
Thanks again, Trey. What you doing this weekend?